Argument to the jury in closing argument, I believe that such negotiations take place every day. I believe that there are illegitimate children who negotiate their rights with celebrity parents, and that happens all the time. Unfortunately, she did not have a lawyer. A lawyer, I think, would have conducted this differently. Or perhaps a lawyer never would have...
Actually, leave your eye.
Might have filed a lawsuit first.
What's that?
And then negotiated.
The paternity didn't matter to me. I have children, and I have a fantastic father. But no child has the right to do this to their father, whether or not they think they're the father, whether they have real reason to believe that. If she felt that she had a legal claim against him, and $40 million is a lot of money, she could have gone to a lawyer. She could have done all the research in a library to find out how to work this thing through legally.
But she did not, and so she wound up in federal court. David Hinkle.
Wait a minute, John. Wait a minute, John. I got to interrupt you. How can this juror say that if she had gotten a lawyer, I'm sorry, forgive me, and she had done this legally, then that she must be saying then that she had some legitimate right that could have been advanced by a lawyer?
Well, I mean,
you know, so I don't understand.
Yeah,
Judge Katz,
not to commit extortion.
Judge Katz, a lawyer provides the cushion between the hard edges of the law and reality. I mean, yes. Bob seems to be surprised by that. Are you?
No, I'm not. But the point is, a lawyer wouldn't advise the other lawyer on the other side, Cosby's lawyer, and say, look, if you don't give us $24 million or $30 million, we are going to carry out our threat, and we're going to publish
all the lawyer just would have said that.
He would have said it in different ways.
Well, how would he have said it, Bob?
He would have said that, listen, my client has an absolute right to sell her story to the Globe.
That's right.
And, however, if you wish, we're giving you an opportunity. If you wish, you can purchase this particular right. But if you wish to do so,
the price to you is $24 million.
And I can charge anybody who's buying from me whatever I want to charge.
David Hinkle, if that had been the scenario with a lawyer, would you have found her guilty?
Probably not.
I mean, why is it that you, as an ordinary citizen, require her to go out and hire one of these guys to negotiate with the guy who she thinks is her father?
Because she was told specifically by Cosby's lawyer that what she was doing was illegal.
Why should she believe Cosby's lawyer?
Why didn't Cosby come out and say, listen, Autumn, I'm not your father. I'll take the test. If you still don't believe me, I'll let you retain your own independent counsel. Listen to your own independent counsel, and I'll pay the bill, and then you decide what rights you think you have. She has no obligation to listen to a lawyer who's representing his interests.
Why should Cosby pay for Autumn Jackson's lawyer, Jerry?
I wasn't suggesting that Cosby should pay for Autumn Jackson's lawyer. What I found interesting was that a juror is saying that almost, given these same set of facts, had a lawyer been an intermediary and had a lawyer been conducting these negotiations, maybe in a more tasteful fashion than was done by Autumn Jackson, then we wouldn't have a problem with it.
But there's a very thin line between...
All right, Bert, let's put it this way. Where in the law is greed illegal? Greed was made a horrible thing by the prosecution in this case. Autumn Jackson was a greedy person, wanting $40 million and settling for a mere $24.
Well, it is the motive for the extortion. Right. Had she only asked for $10,000 or $15,000, there would never been a case.
$10,000 or $15,000, and she's off the hook.
How can you say that? How can you say that?
There's no duty to support her after the age of majority.
If it's $10,000 or $15,000, David Hinkle, will you let her off the hook?
Possibly. I find.
What if he had $400 million and she was only asking for 10% or $40 million?
But she felt she was entitled to that money, and he said, "I'm not your father." How can she be entitled to his money?
Long ago, you called it, John. You said it was the greed issue. I mean, once the money got to be that amount, she lost any sympathy.
Gerald Jackson, I'm hearing your voice there.
Yeah,
do you think your daughter was being greedy?
First of all, what I think my daughter was, and it might sound ludicrous to everybody that's up there, I mean, but it sounds to me that my daughter was like a spoiled brat that threw a $40 million tantrum. That's where I see my daughter at, okay? I don't see her as no criminal. And this lady was talking about this birth certificate. Boy, they keep downplaying that birth certificate real bunch right now. I mean, if that birth certificate was used when that girl was like 5 years old and they wanted to come after me for child support on it, well, what will your courts do to me? They'd have made me stand up as the father. I would have been her father. They're not your alleged father.
Well, you've been allowed to take take a blood test. You would challenge it in court. You would be permitted to get a blood test. And if the blood test came back negative, you'd be off the hook. If it came back positive, you would be on the hook you should be on from Jump Street.
And you know what? I went and I did your DNA blood test. Okay? And they did not want to come back, and they did not want to do anything about it. That's Autumn and Sean. They did not want to match that blood test with mine. So I did that, and I did a polygraph.
Gerald, here's a picture of Autumn and her grandmother.
That's my mother.
That's your mother.
Autumn's in her arms. When Sean sat there and said that I was only with her in a relationship for a year, that girl's a year and a half. Why is she in my mother's arms?
Somebody put her there, obviously.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I put her there. All these pictures I have of her, how did I get them since I ain't supposed to be in a picture in her life?
Well, Gerald, you seem to be testifying against her. If you're really her father, then she is extorting an innocent party and ought to go away for 5 years. I mean, whose side are you on here?
Let me try to get something across to you right now. I'm not trying to testify against her. I'm not saying that. My daughter was wrong. That's what I'm saying. I'm doing what your society tells me I was supposed to have done. I am saying my daughter is wrong. I'm standing up and taking the responsibility. Her mother was wrong, and I'm saying that, no, it wasn't right, and I don't want to see her, and excuse me, the person that really created
Gerald
this
Jackson
mess,
says he is the father. Bill Cosby says he is not. Autumn's fault. This is Rivera Live on CNBC. More in a minute.